Hey, this is Stacia, and I'm going to share with you my round 2 game from the Kings Island Open. So, my last game, I had a pretty rough time in the opening, managed to survive, and pressed my opponent for 5.5 hours. That's how long the game was. But ended up with just a draw, missing 2 wins, possibly more than that. So, that was a pretty rough result given what I put into the game. However, I woke up on Saturday fresh and ready to go for blood in round 2 with the white pieces against David Dimitric, who is a very nice man. He's a bit older, and I think he's basically like a 1900 player. I think his rating is slightly below that at the moment. And I did face him one other time where I misplayed the opening in a Smith-Morra declined and got a bad position, almost held it, but lost in the end. This time, however, I actually ran to my hotel room when I saw the pairing, prepared a little bit, prepared some opening lines for the game. So I was super excited to see if they would appear on the board, and I thought, if nothing else, that will save me some time, right? To just throw some moves on the board that I know are good already. Okay, but as luck would have it, that did not occur. So this game went e4, c5, d4. So we did have this. And now last time, I do believe he just played takes, and on c3 he went knight to f6, and this is a very common way to decline the Smith-Morra gambit. It just kind of transposes into a c3 Sicilian, also known as an Alpine Sicilian. I think we got something like this on the board. I can't tell you exactly what it was like, but something like this. And then at some moment, I pushed d5 too early or something. I don't know. I don't exactly remember. I think I did something like this and pushed d5 too early in that game and lost terribly. However, this time, after d4, he actually played e6, which is the same move that my opponent at Parma had played the very Tuesday before. So I had looked at this with the engine, and I came up with an improvement for this opening, which I got to employ this game. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But first of all, I want to take off the annotations on the board. Yeah, we don't want that. Okay. I usually keep the engine off when I'm analyzing with you guys, and I kind of announce it when I turn it on, as you guys probably know by now. Okay, so anyway, I went d5 because basically what we have here after e6 is we're going to have a Benoni structure. So I went d5 and he took and I took, and then he played d6. And okay, I think I mentioned this in my other video, but from the Parma one, this is not exactly a typical Benoni, because in a typical Benoni, you don't really get a pawn on c4. I put a pawn on c4 here. And this is why it's called the Symmetrical Benoni, because if you look, we're both missing an e-pawn. So this is sort of symmetrical. And a normal Benoni would have, actually this pawn would be here still. It would be on e4. If he doesn't trade right away, this could still happen. Let's just say he makes some move. Let's say he does this, and then I go c4, and then he takes. Okay, now I can take with the c pawn. Now this is more of a normal Benoni, and this is when black goes for a6, b5, and I can go for stuff like e5, hopefully f4, e5. And so that's kind of the normal structure. But in the Symmetrical Benoni, yeah, I don't have an e-pawn, so I can't play for e5. So okay, so he went knight to f6, and I went knight c3, and I analyzed this game with my coach Livio, he's like my online coach. he's great too. So let's see. He's not Calvin Blocker, but who is? Okay. So he was telling me he doesn't like c4. And he said objectively, I'm sure it's fine. He said, but he made a very good point that I wasn't aware of. He said that if you can play like, just say like knight f3, and let's say black does this, and we go knight c3, which looks wrong because we're blocking our c pawn. Then after this, and let's say they pin us or something. Oh wait, it's my turn. Okay, let's just say whatever. I'm just gonna demonstrate something. It's castle, castle. Okay, a very common idea. Let's say they go a6. I think we need that in there. Let's say I'll just go rook e1, because why not? a6, a4. These are all like normal Benoni moves. That's why I'm playing them a little bit fast. Like a4 is to stop the b5 break. Okay, and then like here, he was telling me like, not this exact position, but he was basically saying you can then reroute your knight into the c4 square, and it's much better on c4 where it targets this pawn, and then the bishop can go on f4 because you're really like hitting that pawn, and it's quite annoying for black. The knight on c4 will also be ready for any knight e5 business, which is also very annoying. And he was saying that basically after, in the normal one, he said after c4, and let's just say I went knight f3. I didn't do this in the game, but let's say I just did this, something like this. The problem is that the dark square complex gets very weak. This bishop's coming to g7. It's amazing there. And this knight on c3 is not such a great piece, while a knight on c4 would have been a great piece. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Not sure I fully understand all of that, but I at least got the message of why I would put a knight on c3, because guess what? The computer engine wants that every time I analyze these types of positions, but I didn't understand it, so I just kept playing c4. This is why it's so helpful to work with a coach, right? Because like, oh, the computer says that, but I don't understand it. So I can't, you know, so I tried it and got killed because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't put a knight on c4, you know, and got killed and said, okay, I don't understand that move. I'm just going to play c4. So I may try that other strategy in the future. But okay, I had an idea this game. I did go c4, knight c3, bishop g3, bishop g7, and I played this move knight to e2, which I think is a pretty interesting move, because instead of putting the knight on f3, where it can immediately be pinned, and now there's no way to not lose the knight, right? Like they can just take it. With knight to e2, we're kind of stopping this. And I think I showed this in my last video where I had this opening. You know, you could play f3, like you don't have to allow this trade anymore. And the bishop actually can't go there, it can't go there. So it's really annoying for black. They can't really play this bishop g4 move, which they might be accustomed to. In addition to that, I feel like this knight is now helping to support the f4 break, which is something that I would like to get in, as you will see. So black castled in the game. I castled, and a6. That means that he's going for b5. We better stop that with the move a4. And now knight b to d7, which is a very normal plan. The knight is temporarily blocking the bishop, but that knight is going to come into e5, and all is well. So I decided that I didn't want all to be well for my opponent, so I played this move. And I'm definitely on my own at this part of the game. I don't know this opening very well, but I saw this idea and I thought I would try it. So I went f4. Let's stop knight e5 and see how he wants to deal with that. Now this does weaken some squares a little bit, so you have to be a little mindful of that, but I was, and it's a slow time control game. So, okay, so he went rook e8, and I was really hoping for this move here because I thought maybe f5 was a good move now, which I did play. I went f5, and the idea here was that he can't really take it, right? Taking's horrible, but if he doesn't take it, I am going to take here. Now, the downside of this move is I was just praising my ability to stop knight e5. Well, I'm letting it back in. Okay, but I thought this is okay because I get to take, and then he takes back. And since he committed the rook to e8, I thought f7's a little weaker. I thought I must be like slightly better here, I thought. At least I have something to play for here. Now he can take my bishop. Oh yeah, I pinned first, and he could take my bishop, which he did. But okay, I mean, I think this is okay. Now, what I will tell you now is that f5 is actually a mistake, and it's a common mistake that I make. Specifically me, but probably a lot of people my rating who are, I don't want to say crazy attacking players, but I'm going to say crazy attacking players because that is kind of how I play these days. And I kind of feel like tempos are worth more than they are sometimes. And so for me, I kind of gave up preparing like attacks a long time ago. I kind of just like go for it. But that is not always correct. And here is a case where it isn't. f5 looks good. It is going to open up my rook. That is true. But a better move would be this move, knight to g3. I didn't even consider this move during the game, but I want to talk about this move because this is a huge learning moment for me when my coach showed me this one. Because knight g3 does a lot of different things, and I think had he not explained it to me, there's no way I would have played this move. Now, after understanding it better, I think I would. So knight g3 is a preparatory move. Okay, we're clearing the e2 square. Now, if we go f5 and knight e5 comes in, now our bishop has a square, right? And that square kind of dominates that knight. So that's one thing. Another thing is that our pieces are not coordinated yet. Like usually when you do a pawn break, you want to be like coordinated, right? So like my bishop's still here, my queen's blocking, my rooks aren't connected. So why am I doing a pawn break, right? That doesn't entirely make sense. So knight g3 also says, okay, let's coordinate some more. It also opens up the queen, you know, so, and like I said, it does this, and who knows, we can do this kind of stuff and this, and I don't know. We should coordinate before a pawn break in general. Okay, and another reason, and this one's big. Let's look at black's moves. What is black going to do on their next turn? Please tell me, because I don't know what they should do. The only thing I could think of is that they could try to get their knight out of the way and play f5. That is something they often do in the Benoni. That would be possible. They also want to get their bishop out, but the knight's in the way. The knight needs to go to e5. So this is a very uncomfortable situation for black. And when I play f5, I just kind of like free them up. They're like, oh, thank you. So f5 is a mistake mostly because of that, I think. But here's another reason knight g3 is amazing. Because, okay, if I did nothing, let's say I do nothing, like, I don't know, h3. You know, maybe black could go knight h5 and then go for f5, you know, and that kind of stuff. So their plan continues, and they'll have, as I make my next preparatory moves, they will be able to make some moves like f5 and maybe queen f6, who knows, but it just feels a little easier for black to make useful moves. But after knight to g3, there is no knight h5. There is no knight g4 either, right? We're guarding these now. There's no knight to e8. Look at that. There's no knight h7. There's literally no way to, like, no good way to move that knight out and play f5. And if they can't do that, then I struggle to see what black should do. I mean, what are they going to do? Like queen c7? I'm not sure if that's anything. Maybe it is. Stopping bishop g5 pin, I guess. But I mean, after that, I don't know, b6. If they commit their bishop here, that's a worse square than usual. If they put their knight on b6, it's a worse square than usual. So they will be compromising their position. So anyway, I'm taking the teacher hat off and I'm putting back on the entertaining hat. Yeah, like I ever entertain you guys. I had to show you my games. Okay, so anyway, that was a huge teaching moment for me, that knight g3 thing. And not only that, oh, I forgot, there's even more to this. I forgot to even say it. Okay, knight g3, the other reason this move is quite good, okay, yes, it controls this more, that we understand, but the knight really wants to be an f5. So it supports the f5 break, and it basically says, if you want to take, go ahead, but we get knight f5. And it was Gary Kasparov that said, a knight on f5 is like worth a rook. He said that, not me, so you know it's good, because I didn't say it. Okay, I tell the kids, a knight on f5 is like holding a knife to the black king's throat. That's why we call it knife f5. But I just stole that from Ben Feingold, like usual. Okay, too many Ben Feingold videos for me. Okay, but in the game, unfortunately, I didn't find knight g3. It doesn't mean it can't come in later. So knight e5, and I saw this forcing continuation, and I saw a very interesting finish at the end of this line. And it was a exchange sacrifice. And you know me, I can't really hesitate, so I can't help myself. So bishop g5, I was like, ooh, yay, this is an annoying pin. Actually, my opponent probably should have taken this way, because then annoying pin, and then it's like, well, it's not that annoying. We could just move the queen, it's totally fine. So, but this way it is annoying, right? There's no h pawn to kick me away, and it's hard to protect the knight. So he took the bishop, makes some sense. I was kind of arguing that, hey, my pawns are on light squares, like that bishop wasn't that great anyway, and you're helping me coordinate. So, okay, sort of true. And then I saw this tempo move in my calculation, and this is where I was like, ooh, rook takes f5, rook takes f5. I'm going to play it, I'm going to play it. But then I realized it wasn't a blitz game, it was a slow time control game, and the voices of my coaches started entering my mind. Stacia, you have to calculate. You can't just play that on intuition. This is real chess. You have to calculate. Make sure it's not a blunder. Like, at least make sure it's not a blunder. So, okay. So I heard that in my head. I'm not schizophrenic. At least I hope not. Okay. And, so, but to any schizophrenics out there, I feel for you. I know that you're great people too. Just want to throw that in there. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I spent 20 minutes calculating, seeing if black could punish me in some way, and I decided that the only thing that was really a problem was like rook e5 stuff. But it wasn't enough to scare me off this idea. So I went ahead and took. Yay, I love sacrificing, especially in slow chess. Okay, so I got my wish, and I figured here I've got compensation because number one, I'm better developed. Number two, I've got this annoying pin. Number three, the king's unsafe. These pawns are doubled and isolated. Number four, I've got this h pawn now. It's a pass pawn. And number five, I don't know. Number five, whatever. I have a big attack. So rook f1. I decided I didn't like this variation here and here. Like, okay, what am I doing, right? Like, this is not good. If I go here, maybe knight h5 is possible now, right? Because if I take, yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong about this, but yeah, I don't know. But it doesn't feel like the same type of position after we trade queens and other pieces. So I decided that queen takes was wrong, which was correct. But then I decided, ooh, I'm going to play like Morphe. I'm so excited. I'm not even going to take back. I'm just going to play rook f1, like Morphe style, and I'm going to take back with a rook. That way, if this rook e5 thing comes in, I could take with a rook if I want, or I could do other stuff. Yeah, well, guess what? This is also wrong. This is also wrong. So I'm going to pause my video now. What is the right move here? Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, the right move here is, you guessed it, knight g3. Okay, I just lectured about knight g3 for like 10 minutes, and if you hadn't fallen asleep, you would have found knight g3. But if you did find knight g3, congratulations. Yeah, this move again is totally correct, because we don't want to take back with the queen. We do not want to take back with a rook. We want to take back with a knight and get knight f5. That's what we want. Okay, so again, when I was analyzing with the computer said knight g3, and I was like, why? Like, eventually I figured out that the knight was going to take back, and I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of good. But I had no clue about all the stuff I said earlier that my coach told me. So I had, that was a big wake-up call for me. It's good. I like learning. That means, you know, I'm going to play better someday. Ng3 will argue no, but I promise you I will. I am playing better. My results, you know, that's a different story. Okay, so anyway, I didn't play this right. I played rook f1 and took this way. Okay, and now I have to do something, so I do believe I can pause this and I'll be right back. So hang on. Literally, it'll just be 1 second for you guys. Okay, see ya. Hey, you guys. Okay, I actually changed my mind. I think what I want to do is just end the video here, because with that huge knight g3 lecture, it's gonna be long. So I'm sorry I have to leave this on a cliffhanger, but you know, you'll survive. So, all right, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.